Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Black Hand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. Well, I'm sorry to say that our long road of Periquito is coming to an end today. Yeah, sorry to say it, folks. This is the last of his debrief videos. And, I want to say that it's been really enjoyable doing it. I love hearing the guy talk. He just seems like a really social guy. Seems like he was more a businessman than a doer in terms of, putting in work. And he said that himself. I don't say that in a derogatory sense. He was more about making money, and that's really what he says. So we're going to cover the last 20 minutes of his debrief in this audio. Remember, for those who don't know, Perico Rocha, or Ralph Guy Rocha, was from Norwalk, California. He was a Mexican Mafia member. He was displayed in hotel meetings. He was indicted in 1995 under United States of America versus Alex Aguirre et al. He went to federal prison, got out, and tried to extort a woman who wore a recorder. He got arrested and made this deal here. He debriefed and actually became an embedded informant in a couple of different investigations. Operation Operation La Halle was the primary investigation. But even though we have the ending of this series, you can rest assured we got some more. Yeah, we got some more Perico videos. Birrios? Did I say birrios? Did I say that right now? What the hell? I just regressed. We got some videos of Ralph Rocha in action. Like he's acting in the capacity of an embedded informant, a confidential informant, working at the direction of the ATF. And we have warehouse meetings, we have airport meetings, we have all kinds of stuff. We have wiretaps, we have the entire case file, and we're going to run it all for you. But I think the primary step was to do this, was to show his debrief. I showed you my debrief. I've showed you other people's debriefs. So now you know what a debrief is, right? We've defined what a debrief is, so there should be no equivocation on that. All right, with that said, I'd like to remind everybody that you can support this channel by watching the video in its entirety. Of course, we have Rene Enriquez, www.realreneenriquez.com, where we sell merch and books. You can become a member of the channel. You can buy the team a cup of coffee. There's a couple of different ways you could support the channel, but what we primarily rely upon is your time. We want your time, right? We take the time to make the videos. Please take the time to watch it in its entirety. That's important for us, right? It supports the channel if you leave a comment, do a thumbs up, the whole 9 yards. You guys know what to do. You know what to do. So let's do it, folks. Here we go.
We don't even believe that shit. We know you. You know what I mean? So all that was put in place actually paid off, So anyways, that's all. Just get out there, get in, get us back. Everything's fucked up. Everybody fumbled the ball from the green light. And I was even telling him, when we started that peace treaty, everybody got greedy. We were all there. So we all talked about the fuck ups. Everybody's too worried about getting dope. Everybody's worried about the money for themselves. Everybody got greedy. We turned a lot of camaradas against us, putting green lights on them. Different vatos doing this and that. So all that's dead. You know what I mean? Be real delicate with the green lights. Try and take care of it just with the individual or individuals if you can. Get everybody back, sue them, their ego back, get all the soldados back. Because we're like, that was a big thing. And in there too, I guess in one of them, we were trying to control the vote. So I guess that was a big thing too, because I was trying to do that. People in Norwalk saw one of the tapes where I'm like, look, we could control the vote. If we can control the vote, we put somebody right there. So we're like, well, try and get back into that. You know what I mean? At least on a legit scale. And I mean,
So what he's talking about, the green light phenomena, that was a huge thing. Remember, everybody was getting green lighted for whatever reason, right? And carnales, bums, were putting green lights on hoods for a couple and getting off for a couple grand, right? Yeah, I'll put you on a green light list. I'll tell a couple hoods to go do a couple drive-bys on you, and then the representative from that neighborhood on the green light list would go to the carnal and say, "How do we get off of this? Let's make it right." And they take a couple $100, a couple $1,000. It got to ridiculous proportions, right? Of course, some carnals were getting 20 grand, 10 grand at a whop for taking neighborhoods off the green light list. But it got to that sheer greed of Mexican Mafia members. Remember I told you, and Perico said it as well, carnales have no business acumen. All they think about is the immediate nut, right? Oh, I can get $100 here or $200 here. They're burning people for ounces and getting credit and not paying it and targeting good people so they can get a payday out of it. In fact, Artie was notorious for that, finding people. Artie and Duty Estrada, finding people for getting caught with kites. If you got caught with a kite, right, that's Artie Guzman, then you paid $500. A multa, right? It's multa, M-U-L-T-A. It's called a fine, right? But how in the hell are you going to give somebody a kite? And they're riding hundreds of them, hundreds of kites. We're going to do an episode on this, but how would you find your own soldiers, right? The people that their mothers are on welfare and their grandmas are on Social Security, they have to come up with X amount of money to do this. But we're going to do a whole episode on that. But the phenomena of green lighting got out of control. And rightfully so, they shut it down, which is a good thing for the camaradas and for the organization.
Well, I was a kid watching too many movies. You know, I mean, that's like big shit. They're like, nah. You know, so they're just telling me different things. Like, it's possible. You know, just take your time, get your shit together, move slow. But they're like, no more green lights. As far as camaradas go, you know, some of them are getting too voicey. You know, they're just trying to tell me, we're talking about, and we're kicking back and forth about how to control the mass again. We had them, we could have did it, we fumbled the ball. Now how do we pick it back up and make it good? So that's where all the shit that was getting ready to start, that's where I was at. I had everybody together, I was soothing them, had everything back together, giving them instead of taking from them. You know, so all the miners were in the fire. But that's what we were talking about. That was it. Meeting adjourned.
Woo.
Whatever. We ran around. Went to Lewisburg. I was getting close to getting out. Willie and Termite were there. Bosco, that's his name. Bosco's there. Bosco from Soto. Bosco was there. So whatever.
Actually, that's Bosco Medina from Sotel, not Soto.
We're talking, I got on Bosco because he was being real negative to the camaradas there, making him pay him like $5 of stamps a week. And I'm like, what's up with that? You know what I mean? You were there at the meeting, you know, fuck, you should give them first before you take. That was like, we're going to try and change our MO, like, you know what, we're going to give before we take, you know, to soothe it back in, right? So we got on Bosco about that, blah, blah, blah. From there, I went to Long Pot. Once I got to Long Pot, Gato was there too.
Gato from
San Diego, Richard Martinez. So Gato, Bobby, Rube was there. We were all in Long Pot. I got there. Everybody was strung out.
I'm sorry, what's his name? Richard
Martinez. Yeah. Tomas was there. Yeah, everybody was strung out.
Actually, Richard Martinez is the first federal RICO trial I had ever testified in. I remember when I testified, Richard Martinez was wearing a sweater and a pair of slacks, and he looked old and grizzled, right? And when I got on the stand, he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he just put his head down like a resignation, not a... Hey, folks, sorry about the glitch there. I have a problem with audio. So you're going to hear a transition at this point from a good mic to the camera mic. Sorry about that. I recorded the entirety of the piece. That is my bad and not the editor's bad. It's still discernible. We'll do our best we can to clean it up for you guys. Again, apologies. That's me and my illiterate self trying to work technology that I don't know how to do. That's why I have a wonderful editor, and she's going to do the best she can to make this up, folks, in this piece here. All right, so just be forewarned. Audio's going to shift. It might go to a lesser quality, but that's my bad and not hers. I'm intimidated by you kind of thing. Not at all. Not at all. He was a through and through hitter, right? And the co-defendants were there. The co-defendants would try to IF me, right? Like Lalo and those other guys, they were trying to eye stare me. But what they don't understand is when they do that, right? I didn't care. I didn't care. In fact, if they wanted to do it, that was fine. I'd look right back at them. And then I would look away at some point, right? Because the jury is seeing what they're doing, right? The jury is watching what they do towards me, and that unspoken, nonverbal body language, staring at me hard like they want to eliminate me, and making small comments under the tone of their breath or talking to each other when I come into the room. The jury sees all of this. So that's what they never understand. Is the jury is evaluating their behavior. They don't have to say a damn thing, but it makes an impact on what the jury perceives them to be. Like they posed a threat to me on the stand. That's what they're saying with their eyes. Like, we will get you first chance we get. You MFer, you're no good, you're a rat. They're saying all this with their eyes and their body. Gato didn't do any of that. Gato was wise enough just to look at me and put his head down, and then never looked at me again. Never looked at me again. I would glance, because when I testify, I want to look them in the eye. I don't look away. I want to look them in the eye and let them know I am doing this. It's your own words, your own evidence that you provided against yourself. All I'm doing is interpreting it. But I want you to see that. I want you to know that I'm giving you that as a man. I'm looking at you in the eye. I'm telling you I'm here with my look. I'm here, and I'm going to testify. And that's what I try to convey in a respectful way, professional way. There's no personal animosity with the individual that's sitting over here and I'm testifying. None of that, right? But Gato did that, and I remember him thinking, he knows it's over. He knows he's never going to get out of prison again, and that's really what happened. He was eventually eliminated in the cell, in a cell fight, with a non-member. It wasn't a Mexican Mafia hit, and he died in prison.
Partying like a motherfucker.
Tomas
Moreno.
They're all in the facility.
Yeah, we had.
This is in the gym you're talking, or no?
No, we already finished the gym.
Okay.
I already went to
Got it.
Lewisburg now in the Long Pond. Yeah, we're right there. The cops are giving us a bottle, letting us, not even testing us. Man, it's a party. Cops bringing in drugs, fucking, sucking.
Who's that?
Long Pond.
Yeah,
It was like, if you're doing time, that was, man, a criminal's heaven. That was
Talking about SEAL corruption, right? And it happens in every prison. This isn't isolated just to Lompoc. This is all prisons, particularly CDCR. Female staff having sex with inmates, free workers having sex with inmates. It's like an epidemic, and it happens everywhere. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about having sex with each other, obviously. He's talking about the staff members.
is this when you picked up that
Yeah.
beat that you won?
Yeah,
And that's why then you just got released because you're already on your way.
Yeah, my time had already passed, my release
Right,
date.
okay, so now it makes sense. That was all part of that same time you're in on the Fed case.
Yeah.
It's at the tail end of it.
Yeah, well, everybody, the people that were involved in it, there was like 4 or 5 of us getting released. So since we were getting released, that's when they charged the first one. I was probably like about a year behind the first guy that was getting released, and so that nobody get out. That's how they charged us.
I'll tell you about that. That was in Lompoc, right before his release on the RICO case that he caught. He did X amount of time. He was due to be released. But before that, an individual came in and Perico wanted him eliminated. Perico actually slapped him. Then they take the guy into the cell and they stab him multiple times. T-Bug Moreno did it. And a couple other camaradas were participated in it. But he got indicted on that case. Him and T-Bug Moreno were held to answer in the Central District of California. And they fought the case, right? In fact, Perico Rocha, this individual here, represented himself in propria persona. He was his own attorney. And they say only a fool has himself for a client, but believe it or not, the prosecutor was Matthew Umhofer in the United States Attorney's Office. Lost the case. Thomas Moreno was convicted. He was found not guilty and released from MDC. As soon as the jury came back and found him innocent, he walked from jail. He walked. He beat the United States Attorney's Office. That was his time to leave. So, okay, I'm out. I did my part. I'm out of here. But he jumped right back into it. Again, he extorted this woman whose brother had stolen a car that had 100 pounds of product in it. Unfortunately for the brother, it was an associate of his, right here, that owned the car. So he wanted recompensation. He wanted to be reimbursed, right? He went back. He went and got $30,000 or $40,000 the first pop. He got greedy and wanted the second pop because his sister owned a business. She got scared and called the majors at Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, and they wired her up, and she went and did the transaction. Hence his debrief. He knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, but I got there, and same thing, you know what I mean? I got there, Rube, all of them were there. We'd sit on the yard every morning, and I was getting close to getting out. Tomas, they're like, well, get out. You know, Rube was telling me how he was fucking up when he was out there. We've had a pretty heart-to-heart. Last time, man, you fucking up, and, this and that. I looked at, you're fucking... I'm putting it to him, you know what I mean? People look up to you, make decisions. You got out in Toro, nobody recognized Toro, because a lot of people are saying we didn't recognize Toro, as far as a lot of the feds. A lot of them said if we ever get a chance to get next to him, he's done, because he was made under false pretenses. And they send that palabra out to a lot of people. But there's a lot of back and forth about that. So anyways, we're there, and they're like, okay, you're getting out. Yeah, get shit back together. Black Bob, my primo, Gato and all them. I was like, get shit together. It's important. Just take your time. Lay in the cut. They're just trying to advise me on how to reminding me, because we were all there at the junta, and all of us that were in Marion are now in Long Park. You know what I mean? So just kind of recapping shit, and just like, all right.
I find it ironic that Mexican Mafia members that can't stay out of jail are advising him on how to stay out of jail. Here's a bunch of guys that are strung out. He said it himself. They're all strung out, getting high, partying, trying to advise him how he should conduct his business on the streets. Again, if you know anything about the organization, never involve carnales in what you're doing. They'll destroy it. And they do. They destroy businesses. They will get you told on. They will tell on you. They will run your business to the ground, abuse your people, and all they care about is that instantaneous high and gratification. That's all they know.
Tomas was there too. He was going to be getting out too. He would have been out. He was just, if he got his good time back, he would have been out. So he was in the mix too. We're like, hey, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get out there, get shit together. And I told him, it ain't. I even told him it's not going to be like that. I'm not just going to get out and magic. I said, it's going to take me like a year, 2 years, to give me a minute. Let me find, I've learned, I'm not just going to be out there. I'm not going to be on phones. I'm not, So they're like, yeah, we know. So don't, and I let them know, don't expect a lot from me right away, because from our mistakes, I ain't going to make our same mistake. I want to end up back here. So just give me a minute. Let me do it. Trust me. Like I told them before, know me. You know what I mean? Know me. If you hear something or whatever about me, you make the judgment call on me. Is that him or is that not him? You know what I mean? I need your support there. They're like, yeah, we know. So we're blowed out half the time anyway, so, we talk. So then we caught that case. We were drunk, and I beat it. I got out, and Shazam. That's where we're at.
Give us a little bit of detail on that last case, just so we have it.
Really, we were Malias, because we were using, so we were, kind of dope sick.
Yeah, give us who was all with you and all.
Me, Tomas, Lonely from VNE, and Yogi.
Which incident are we talking?
This is the one, the case he beat.
The one in Long Park. The one in Long Park, okay.
From Whittier, yeah. We were right there. I got up that morning, me and Lonely, because we lived in the same unit. and we were dope sick. So we went to the yard looking for dope. Nothing. We heard that they had shine in Tomas's unit, so we went over there.
Well, name the players again, please.
Me, Tomas, Lonely, and Yogi.
Do you know Lonely's name?
Rodriguez is his last name. I don't remember his first name.
Do you know where he's from?
Vinny.
What about Yogi?
I don't know his first or last name.
Do you know where he's from?
Southside Whittier.
While they're doing that in their notes, documenting who was with them, he said he went to the yard looking for dope, but there was none. So he heard that there was shine in Tomas's unit, and shine is moonshine. Like they have a little still, they distill it, and you come out with righteous fire water. I've only drinking it a couple of times during my period of incarceration, but man, that stuff is like tequila. It's powerful. It's like the Appalachians, where they sell the moonshine. It's the real stuff. So he was gonna go get well on that, I guess.
Okay. Where were you guys?
We were in different units.
Okay.
So we ended up going to his unit. Somebody was supposed to make shine. They were supposed to have some type of, some type of alcohol over there. So we went over there. We drank a couple. Though somebody was supposed to have some in another unit too. So we left out of the unit, went over there, and went to the yard just looking for anything, dope, something. And I guess Lonely and them had seen the guy the night before, and they knew about it. They talked about it. That dude was a rat. The one that came from Atwater. Lonely said he knew this. Anyways, kind of hard to think when you're sick and then you're drunk, So we're running around. We end up back in the unit.
Is the guy from Atwater the guy that gets killed?
Huh?
Is the guy from Atwater the guy who ends up getting killed?
He don't die.
Oh, okay. Who gets stabbed?
Yeah.
Do you know his moniker or his name?
No.
Okay.
It ended out in court coming out that
Yeah,
it was Droopy or Dopey or Daffy or something like that.
Okay.
Something with a D. So, anyway, we go back to the unit. We're drinking. It came up that dude's Lonely, I guess. I don't know how it came up that he's a rat, or he knew he was a rat, or he told on something or the other, or he came from Atwater. Atwater was a no good joint as far as the Fed system went. So we're eating. We're going from cell to cell, just partying. It came up, and it came up a couple of times. Lonely had said it. And then I remember we're in the cell, and Lonely's like, hey, yeah, that dude. I remember I'm laying on the bed. I remember that. And he's still talking about him and Lonely, or him and Yogi or something, and me and Tomas are talking, and we're eating. And Lonely was getting the burritos, coming back and forth, and then there's talking about it, and I'm like, what are you guys fucking talking about? Or something, And I think Tomas like, that dude, whatever. I'm like, what dude? They're like, that dude's like, well, fuck, what the fuck you talking about it for? I mean, quit talking about it or do something. Well, this and that. I'm like, fuck all that. So I left. I left the room. And, but before I leave, they show him to me. They go, there he is. The dude the dude's sitting right there. Well, they didn't really show him to me. They said, the dude's sitting right there. So I left. I walked outside. I go sit on the table with homeboys. I don't remember what we said, what we talked about. I don't even know if I played cards with them. Or whatever they were playing. They were playing cards or dominoes. Then when I left, I seen him, I slapped him, and that was it. I walked by.
Slapped who? The guy that ends up getting stabbed?
Yeah, I slapped him.
Why'd you do that?
Honestly, if I had to guess my own personality, they're probably just talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, man, fuck this dude. Boom.
That wasn't the signal. Like, slapped him, like, bitch slapped him? Or?
Yeah, like, bitch slapped him.
Okay. Do you think that was the indication to the other guys? Like, okay, go ahead.
No, actually, because I remember when I walked back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I walked back, and I'm like, that old boy right there. They're like, yeah, wow, we should have said something. I'm like, look, you guys just talking about just fucking leave it alone, man. You know what I mean? Woo. And I remember I told him, I said, just fuck them. You know what I mean? It's nothing. You got paper. Nah, okay, woo. And then that's about that time. I remember I just said like, "Fuck that." Came out with his shit and went over there. Tomas is a carnal, so went over there and just started hitting him. And that's when I'm like, "What the fuck?" Shit's out of hand. Woo, woo, woo. Took off running out the door. Over and done with. We got away.
So who got charged in that? You?
All of us, all four of us. Me, Yogi, Lonely, and Tomas.
And who all got convicted?
I think them three. Actually,
Yeah, this was on videotape, actually. It shows the initial slapping. I think they go and yank his headphones off. They're generally harassing him, like punking him, right? And then they take him into a cell, and that's where it occurs.
Tomas said he's going to take it. Because we were Sally's, and he's like, he even apologized. Like, "Hey, you know what, Spence?" And I even told him, I was drunk. It was, wow, everybody was talking about it. And then, we got kind of mad at Lonely. Actually, we were going to put Lonely on we're like, "You know what, motherfucker, you kept talking about something. Why don't you leave it alone?" You knew we were drunk. It was antagonizing us. Well, not us, because they were talking. I'm like, I just slapped him. I look back, like I said, I couldn't tell you what went through my mind or what. I just, boom. And then Tomas like, "You know what, I'm going to take it off because I did that." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Hey, whatever, you don't have, we're here, we're all going to court. Let's see." He goes, "No, I'll do that. I did that. Fuck it."
But the other two got convicted too?
Yeah.
What was different from their case to your case?
I have no idea. Actually, their first case they got an acquittal on. They got a hung jury or something, I think. Then when they came back, and I don't know, because I had the same things, that same evidence. Not only that, we showed the same, on the story. Yeah, probably could have convicted us, but
So those guys never made it out. Then they're still in.
Yeah, they're still in. Well, actually, they went to Victorville, and Yogi and Lonely caught him murder. They actually caught him real murder.
In the system?
Yeah,
in prison?
in Victorville.
And Thomas he's just doing his time for that conviction?
Yeah. He went up to, he's in Colorado now.
Okay, so basically where it stands now is you're out, finally released after that trial or whatever, and you're out to kind of set up, get everything back to where it needs to be, based off of all your meetings through being in locked up.
Yeah.
And that's what basically you were doing the last 3 years, was trying to do that, or 2 years, whatever it was.
Yeah, the last year, year and a half.
Okay.
I guess you say that.
He actually did a real good job. Perico and Cisco had hooked up. His name is Munoz. I forgot his first name. Cisco's last name is Munoz. But they were paired up, and they were doing well, really well. They were pushing luxury vehicles. They were making good money. They had the territory sewed up, and he set out to do what he wanted to do.
Let's pick that up. That way it gives you the weekend to kind of, because we know there was stuff that went down, so it gives you the weekend to kind of put that together. We'll come back. I'm not sure what day. We'll have to pick a day next week to, we'll figure it out amongst all of us, our schedules and stuff. I figure one more day we'll knock this out, and then be ready to go.
Whatever's convenient.
Yeah.
It ain't really that much. Like I wrote them down. Like I said, if you want, I could. You guys act like I was out there chopping people up or something.
No, we don't think you're chopping people up, but I would say more like you were calling the shots on a lot of stuff. Actually, the first
2 years, more or less, year and a half, I was mostly running with the Armenians. There was just a lot of meet and greet, lunch and eat,
Yeah, but we want to know about those dudes.
Get
We want to
money.
know about the cartel connections, and we want to know about the other MA stuff with the street gangs that you were and this is like this is the game time right now, because this is kind of now we're in our arena. While you were out, we were out working. Like the stuff from 10 years ago, I wasn't working Mexican Mafia. The only one was probably working was Chris. None of us were working it, so we're just listening to you and kind of soaking it all in. Now, we had other things going on that can corroborate other things. So there may be a lot of stuff that we already know, that we want to see, we want to hear from you. You get what I'm saying? We're more at your level now on what was happening out of the street based off of our other investigations. And I can give you one example. Chris and I just came off working the Mongols for 4 years. We knocked those guys down a year ago on the Rico. You're probably aware of that. And we know you were meeting with them. Okay, we covered meetings where you were there. So we know specific stuff like that. So when you're talking to us, this is the time where you got to just be straight up with us, because there's going to be things we know about. And we got to have that trust going right now, so when we get out on the street, we know that that's already there.
We got to be able to make cases, so we can go to bat for you at the end of the day.
Do you know what he means when he says covered meetings?
Huh?
Do you know what he means when he
You
says
can only
covered?
really been to. I only went to one meeting with the Mongols.
Where was that?
Denny's.
Right.
Where was that?
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm just throwing that out so you know that we do work other stuff. And
What he's saying is that they have them on recorded lines and other bugs and other investigations. And that's what they want cooperation on. They already have independent cooperation. He's warning him, hey, you need to be forthcoming, and you need to put it all on the table right now, because this is a proper session, right? It'll become a real proper when the United States Attorney is there. I'm thinking that's John Ciccone. I'm not certain. It could be a United States Attorney, but they're saying they have other stuff where he was recorded, he was captured, and you can see the consternation and concern in his eyes. Like, huh? You got me a wire, huh? Woo, woo, woo. Let's do it. That is something that we did not know. He has immunity. He has immunity from the United States Attorney's Office, and that encompasses anything he says here cannot be used against him and will not be used against him in a court of law with these agencies that he's sitting down with, right? So he has like a fresh, clean slate right now to put it all out. I would have been putting everything out there. Yeah, I took a piece of bubble gum when I was 7 years old from this store, because you receive immunity for anything that there's no statute of limitations on, including eliminations. That's really the important thing here. When you debrief, you put it all on the table because you're receiving immunity. I did not receive immunity. I received administrative immunity from the CDCR, and district attorney wrote me conditional immunity for the debriefs, right? but he's got blanket immunity right here.
Like I've been telling you guys, you get that out your, I'm not, you could put that on the shelf. I'm trying, so I've been writing things down and trying to wreck my brain
I'm not
about
saying that you're not doing that.
particulars, but I know general. Once I start put the general picture there, then I start breaking it down myself. Then I'll start getting the particulars.
Right.
But off the cuff, a lot of particulars that I wrote down myself, I'd be like, okay, that's the general frame of it.
Right.
Now, then I'd break that down, and I'd be like, nah, that's not. It's just like my thought, thinking it through, and that's what. But that's not. So
Right.
I'm trying. It's not like I'm not trying.
The only reason I'm bringing that up now is because all this other stuff leading up to right now. Now you come into our arena, what all of us have been working, and this is where we need to be, straight up, because we kind of know other stuff that's going on out there to be able to know, where you're coming from on it. So, and this is the stuff that's going to be important to us to put cases together on people. And now, basically, the next time we come in and talk to you, our case is pretty much going to start at that point, because that's the stuff that's happened in the last couple of years. It's fresh stuff. It's stuff that we all know about to some degree, and it's the most recent stuff you've been involved in to help us. So basically that historical thing we're talking about, that starts the next time we talk to you. And we're going to work that, and then if we get you out, then, it's game on for everything else that comes along with it. So, just so you understand kind of where we're at with where we are, the next topic we talk about. We have some behind-the-scenes knowledge.
I'm going to stop this stuff, and we can continue talking if you like, but I don't know if there's any reason to continue.
No, I thought
No, I didn't stop. Okay, it's 16:38 hours.
And there you have it, folks. The debrief concludes. And believe me, this is just one segment of the debrief. They're going to talk about the historic stuff. He's got his notes ready. I just don't happen to have those videotapes. I will try to acquire them and bring that to you. But this is what a debrief entails. When you debrief, you tell everything. That's just the reality of it, right? You can't be selective. And this is only what I did. No, it doesn't work that way. And again, let me reiterate, this is not directed towards anybody, right? This is my professional knowledge of what debriefing entails, right? I debriefed. I've seen dozens of debriefs. I've read, probably about 100 debrief reports, and listened to many interviews. And this is how it works, right? They're not just there to hear, oh, hey, well, you're such an interesting character. You want to hear all your stories, right? No, this is a investigation team. It's a task force. They're coming in and say, okay, we know that you have valuable information. We have investigations going on, and we want to see what you got in terms of incriminating evidence or knowledge about what we're looking at and the people that we're investigating. That's the whole objective. And what in your debrief is actionable. Actionable intelligence means that they can take action on it, not that's just historic stuff, right? They want actionable intelligence, and that's the next round of interviews. They're gonna tease that out. And there's a method to this. These guys are professionals, so not just guys asking random questions, right? So there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this last episode of Perico. Periquito, Periquito. That's for the guys who asked me to stop singing. Ain't gonna happen, Captain. Because you know what? Singing is good for the soul, brother. I don't care how you sing. Just sing. And you'll see how you'll put a smile on your face. I do it in my car all the time. I'm cruising around singing at the top of my lungs. I know people are driving by me when my windows are down thinking, this guy's crazy, right? But try it. It'll enlighten your soul a little bit. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed this last episode of the debrief. Again, we're going to come out with some fire. Like, if you thought this was interesting, watch him in action. That's coming soon, folks. With that said, leave a comment. Leave a thumbs up. Hype this video, folks. Hype. Important. And watch it in its entirety. Peace out, folks. Have a wonderful day.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser.